I'm just having a sip of water before the lesson starts. We'll start in 39 seconds. 2 sips of water. The water tastes really good this morning. It's nice to have a cold glass of water. Looks like everything is working properly. We'll start in 21 seconds on this English lesson about facial expressions. That's one of them. I'm not going to tell you which one. There's another one. I'm not going to tell you which one that is. But we'll start in about 8 seconds and we'll learn a little bit about facial expressions. 3, 2, 1. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about facial expressions. Facial expressions are when we use the muscles in our face to make different expressions that mean different things. Now, I do have to say that these facial expressions will be connected to English words and the emotions and feelings we have or what we're experiencing that causes us to make that expression. And it might be different in your part of the world. So not only will you be learning about facial expressions and what we call each one, but what it means if you are in my part of the world. I think most of them will be the same. I think a smile is a universal facial expression, but there's a few other ones that might be a little bit different, and we'll find out as we go along. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about facial expressions. Hey, before we get started, just a few things. In the chat, you will see there is a link. Know that has actually used the exclamation mark to make it pop up. Thank you. Members can do that. You can use that link to ask a question. Please use the chat for fun English conversations. Use it as a way to practice your English reading and writing while you also practice your English listening while I talk. Let me do a little audio check here to make sure things are working. Looks like everything is working. So yes, if you have a question, please use the link. Use the chat for fun English conversations, and please enjoy your time here. A student or viewer once told me, it's not just the lesson. It's not all about you, Bob. I enjoy reading and chatting with the people in the chat as well. So it's kind of a community experience. I do also want to thank all of you who have sent me a photo. There's a lot of them. I have a bit of work to do before tomorrow's live stream, but it should be lots of fun to see some of the photos that people sent me from all different parts of the world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch my last video. But should we get started? I think we should. As you know, my time is limited on a Friday morning right now because I have to teach a class at my school in an hour and a half. So let's get this done. Well, wait. Denise says, I'm wondering how many people have sent their photos to Bob. About 250 so far. And I have half of them processed and put into a slideshow to use. So I got a bit of work to do later today. Although I do have a couple other things today too. But hey, let's get started. A smile. So you'll notice I said a smile, but you can also decide to smile. So you can use it as a noun or a verb. This guy has a really nice smile. He looks really happy. I wasn't planning on doing all the facial expressions myself, but I am smiling as well. So when you smile, it usually means you are experiencing joy. It means you are happy. It usually means that whatever you are doing is a lot of fun. And so you smile, and this shows the people around you that you are experiencing that emotion, that you are very, very happy. So I smile a lot as I go through the day. I'm usually in a good mood, and I think a smile is an important, would I say tool? I guess it's an important thing I use as a teacher. I think smiling communicates to students and viewers like you that I'm in a good mood, and maybe it will be pleasant and enjoyable to learn some English from me or something else. So smile, show you are happy. A frown. A frown is something we use to express dissatisfaction. If I see a student using their phone in class, I might look at them and frown. So I'm saying to them, I don't like what you're doing. If I went to a birthday party and they served food I didn't like. Like, let's say there was a party for me, and let me think of a food I don't like. I can't think of one, but let's say they served pie and I really wanted cake. I might frown to show my dissatisfaction. When you are satisfied, or when you express satisfaction, you're happy with something. When you express dissatisfaction, it means you are not happy. You are disappointed. You are not satisfied. A scowl. So a scowl, it's kind of like, I'm trying to mimic the person in the picture here. A scowl also has a little bit of anger to it. So it's dissatisfaction, but you're also a little bit angry about the situation, like just a tiny bit. Like if someone tells me, there's a mess on the floor, you have to mop it up, I might scowl because I'm like angry that I have to do that job. I might be annoyed or angry, or I might be thinking, I do not want to do it. So a scowl is like, it's hard for me to scowl. I'm not a natural scowler, but it's a look of dissatisfaction with a little bit of anger mixed in, or at least annoyance mixed in. A grimace. Have you ever hurt yourself, twisted your ankle, maybe stubbed your toe? Maybe you have, when you're cutting your fingernails, you accidentally clip a little too close to the skin, and you might grimace. Generally, when we grimace, it's in response to being injured, or even maybe seeing someone getting injured. If I saw someone driving their car and they hit another car, I might go, because I feel like, oh, maybe people got hurt. So a grimace, probably the most common grimace for me would be if I stub my toe, or let me see, how else do I hurt myself sometimes? I guess just playing a sport and you twist your ankle, or maybe I played volleyball once and the volleyball hit the ends of my fingers and jammed my fingers in a bit. And I was like, I grimaced when that happened. So to grimace, to make a facial expression because of pain. A grin, same as a smile. There is literally no difference. When you grin from ear to ear, sometimes we say he was grinning from ear to ear. So your smile or grin is so big, we say it's from ear to ear. But a grin is, again, simply an expression of happiness, an expression of joy, an expression of contentness. You are very content and happy. So hopefully you grin and smile a lot today. Again, no difference between the two. He had a large smile on his face. He had a large grin on his face. They mean the same thing. Disgust. So we've shifted a bit in terms of the words I'm using. This, I would say, is a look of disgust. So he is expressing a feeling of disgust. Probably the best example I can think of is if food has gone bad and smells funny. If I smell the milk container, I might do that. I just saw myself on the screen. I might express disgust like, oh, that smelled gross. That would be another word we would use in English, an expression of disgust, or that something is gross. You can also express disgust at what people are doing. You might see someone, the only thing I can think of is you're walking home late at night and you see someone who's intoxicated and they've decided to, in English, we would say, take a pee on the side of the road. And you might be like, oh, can't they find a bathroom? So anyways, you might have an expression of disgust or a look of disgust. And then, of course, sometimes you have surprise. If I walked into a room the night of my birthday and turned on a light and there were 50 people in the house and they all yelled, surprise, I would have a look of surprise. I would be like, what is going on here? And then maybe Jen would say, it's a surprise party for you. Sometimes people will give you a gift and you weren't expecting a gift. And then you would have a look of surprise. Notice his eyes are open. His mouth is open a little bit. A look of surprise because he has received a gift, maybe unexpectedly, but he already has a party hat on. So I'm assuming he kind of knew this would happen. But hey, let's look at some questions. It's a minute or so early, but we're going to keep this lesson moving along. I'm wondering if the facial expressions have the same meanings in your country. I'd be curious to know. From Denny, hello, Bob, the best mime teacher ever. I'm stuck in a box. Do you know what a mime is? A mime acts without speaking. So they use hand gestures. And one of the common ones is to pretend that they are stuck in a box. How good are you at reading facial expressions? Can you tell when someone is deceiving you? You know, it depends on the person. We say in English, some people you can see all their emotions on their face, and some people are very much, they hide their emotions. They aren't very expressive. So it depends on the person. Some students, yes. Some people, yes, I can read their facial expressions and get a good sense of how they are feeling. But yeah, some people are really good at hiding their feelings. Can I tell when someone is deceiving me? Not really. You know, that's the way humans are. Some people are really good liars, and it's just hard to tell. Similar question from Know That. Hello, personal question. Are you someone who is good at keeping a poker face or not at all? Or does it depend on the situation or the moment? Thanks a lot, Bob. It depends on the people I'm with. So that's why I said it's a similar question. We're just kind of flipping it. Am I good at not showing my emotions? Am I good? A poker face would be like, it's a neutral look and you can't tell what the person's feeling. And it's often used by people gambling, playing a card game, some kind of poker, because if they get good cards, they don't want to go. Like, they don't want people to see. And if they get bad cards, they don't want to go. So you have to have a poker face. I can in certain situations. With my family and friends, though, I'm not good at hiding my emotions. Let's see here. From Sally. I'm here to say that thank you, teacher. How to describe a shocked face. So the most common shocked face is from the movie Home Alone, and the little boy goes, so he's shocked at whatever he's seeing. So that to me would be, but generally your eyes are bigger and maybe your mouth is open. So similar to surprise. Like if there was a car accident behind me, I might turn and go, and that might be my look of shock. So it's hard to say the difference. Like that would be happy surprise and that would be shock to me. Okay, let's see here. Liam, in my opinion, grin almost the same as laughing. Little fix there. What do you think? Is it suitable for business? It depends on the type of meeting you are in. If you're in a very serious meeting, I would smile slightly as I listen. I wouldn't have a really big smile or grin on my face if someone important is talking, because they might interpret that as you're saying, closer to laughter. So if I was listening to an important person in a meeting, I might smile with my mouth closed, or I might be like, but if I was like, then it kind of looks like I'm almost laughing or making fun of them. So suitable for business? Yes, you should be in a good mood. Should you have a huge smile on your face in certain situations? Probably not. Probably not a good idea to smile too much. Hey, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Let me pop the link into the chat again. I think Mo just did it at the same time as me. Good morning, Know That. Good morning, Mo. Good morning, Hafiez. I didn't take time to say hi to people this morning, but hello to all of you. Hi to Vitor, Esmeralda, Wall, and everyone else who is here. I will get back to the lesson in just a moment after I have a sip of water. More facial expressions coming. Here we go. Anger. So you can have a look of anger on your face. You can see this guy does not look happy. Anger is associated with the emotion of being angry, being mad at someone. I'm going to try and make an angry face. That kind of looked like, I don't know if that, like, I like to, I guess I sounded like a pirate there, like you're it's almost like a scowl, and you kind of scrunch your forehead together. You see how like, when you draw an angry person, you put like a little line above their eye. So it looks like there's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not an artist. Anger is used, an angry expression is used to let people know that you are upset, you are annoyed, you are outright angry. You just do not like what they said or what they're doing, or even in a situation. You might come home and your house is flooded because it rained all day. You might be angry about that. So you're not angry at a person, but you're angry at the situation. Sadness. So this is a feeling that you can see on people's faces. You know, I'm trying to be as sad as the guy in the picture. Let me make it bigger for a second. I just look tired when I try to look sad. I shouldn't laugh about this. Sadness is a real thing. If you are feeling sad, maybe something bad has happened in your life. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe even something more serious. Maybe someone in your family was hurt. Maybe someone has passed away. You will feel sad and you will have a facial expression like this. Definitely not much expression, but also you can just see there's a look of concern. There's a look of just not a lot of energy. Feeling sad because something happened in this person's life that makes them sad. Fear. If you have a look of fear, it generally means your eyes are open really big. If someone jumped out from behind a wall at night and said, boo, and tried to scare me, by the way, it was Halloween last night, it would probably look similar to the look I gave of shock. Like I would probably jump back. I would probably move my hands as well. It's because you might think, oh, what's happening? I better put my hands up to defend myself. And then you would have like your eyes really wide open. And you would, of course, be experiencing fear. You would be afraid of whatever's happening. Your heart rate would go up. You would be ready to run away because you're not sure what's happening and you are afraid. A smirk. So a smirk is a kind of half smile. A smirk is not always a good thing. So someone might smirk if you do something wrong. Like, let's say I was a mean person and I was in an English class and someone else was speaking English and they were making lots of mistakes. I might smirk and I might think, I'm way better than them. Like, I'm way better than them. So it's not always a nice thing. It's a little bit of arrogance, like feeling like you're better than someone else. It can be more passive as well. Like if someone tells a joke and it's not really that funny, you might smirk a little bit. So in that sense, it's more of a positive thing. But to smirk means to, just kind of smile a little bit, sometimes just with one corner of your mouth, like this person here is doing, to smirk. And it's also a smirk. So he has a smirk on his face and he is smirking. It's both a noun and a verb. A sneer. So a sneer is interesting because it signals aggression a little bit. Like it's like you're saying, really? Yeah, I'm not very good at making a sneer. But in this case, I think maybe this person was just insulted and they're about to give an insult back. Like if someone said to me, Bob, you're dumb, I might be like, really? And then you're starting to get maybe a little bit angry. So a sneer is not a positive facial expression. It is definitely communicating a negative emotion, tiny bit of anger, tiny bit of annoyance, and maybe a little bit of aggression. Like if you see two boxers meet before a boxing match and they shake hands and then they might say a few things and then they might sneer at each other a little bit just to let the other person know that they're ready and willing to fight in the boxing match. To wince, very similar to grimace. You can wince. I know the last time I winced was because a bee was flying at my head and then it didn't turn. All of a sudden I saw something out of the corner of my eye and I was like, I kind of closed my eyes a bit and turned away. You can wince if you go see a movie and there's a really violent scene, and you might just wince because you kind of don't want to look at it. You might wince if let's say two of your friends started fighting, like actually punching each other. I would hope you tried to break up the fight, but you might wince because you might be like, when you see violence, sometimes you don't want to look at it. So to wince, to close your eyes and kind of, you can see how there's like a speed to it, like kind of look away. Bees trying to fly into my face, not a very nice thing. To stare. So to stare means I'll do a stare for a sec. When you stare at someone, you look at them intently, you don't look away, and then you often don't blink very much either. I mean, you do blink, but this to me is a perfect example of a stare. I'm trying to do it right now. I'm trying to look intently at the lens. It can be a little bit strange. Like if you're in a public place and someone you don't know stares at you, you kind of feel like, oh, why are they staring at me? I did have this at the train station a few months ago where someone was staring at me. And then eventually they came up and asked if I was Bob the Canadian. And I said yes. But to stare at someone means to look at someone and to hardly blink and to not look away. Either because, now there's a number of reasons for a stare. You might stare at someone because you think they're attractive. It's rude to do that, but you might stare at someone because you think they're attractive. I might stare at a student so they behave. If a student is talking in class when they're not supposed to, I might look at them. Instead of saying, hey, Johnny, stop talking, I might try to catch their eye and I give them a look, but it's kind of a stare. Trying to communicate that they should behave. So there's a number of reasons to stare. An eye roll or to roll your eyes. This is something you do. Maybe you're watching a movie and someone says something that's just what we would say silly or corny or it doesn't make sense. You might be like, you're basically saying you don't think that was funny. Maybe a person you're talking to says something and you just think, oh, really? Like you roll your eyes because either you don't agree with them, you think what they said was silly, or you can't believe it. Like maybe they say, oh, my mom got in a car accident for the 4th time this week. You might be like, are you serious? Like you're kind of like, yeah, you're not excited about the situation. So it's an eye roll. Teenagers do this a lot. If you say this homework is due tomorrow, you might see a few students go where they just roll their eyes, expressing dissatisfaction at what you said. So I think we've done wink before in another lesson. I can wink with one eye, and I can kind of wink with the other eye. I'm not very good at it. You can wink at someone for a number of reasons. It can have, like there can be a romantic element to it. You know, if you see someone who you think is attractive, you might wink at them, but it is considered a little forward and a little inappropriate maybe. Like if you see someone or meet someone who you are compatible with, who you might have a romantic interest in, I highly recommend that you just have a conversation. Winking is kind of strange and weird. Like if there was someone, like let's say when I was in university, there was someone I liked. If I was like, hi, that's just weird. Don't do that. But in movies, you might see people do that. You might give a wink if something's funny. Like if someone says to me, I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, if I brought donuts to work and one of my colleagues was like, hey, thanks for the donuts, I might be like this. I might be like, no problem. Like it kind of communicates, hey, we're on the same team. We're friendly. I did something nice for you and you thanked me. So it's kind of like you're welcome. I'm not sure why he's doing I guess I pointed too, didn't I? Like, you're welcome. No problem. I don't wink very often. You could probably tell. Puppy dog eyes. So this is obviously a puppy. A small dog, a baby dog is called a puppy. And we have something called puppy dog eyes. This is a facial expression that young children will often use in order to get their parents to agree to something. So if my kids were much younger, and if they said, "Can I have some ice cream?" and I said no, they might say like, "Please." And they might try to make, I can't do it. I'm old. I'm in my 50s. I can't make puppy dog eyes. But it's like, please. You'll probably have seen this in movies or in cartoons or with children that you know in your life, either your own kids or nephews and nieces or even younger siblings. When children really want something, sometimes they will do that. To squint. So this is an interesting one. Often when I make a video, when it's really sunny outside, if I don't have my sunglasses, I need to squint. It's too bright. And I can mimic it for a sec. Let's do this. So it's going to be dark and then it's going to be really bright. So then I have to squint because I can't, it's too bright for me to see. My eyes can't adjust. So you can see this guy, not sure where he is, but he's squinting a little bit with one eye, maybe with both eyes. Sometimes you need to squint when it is too bright outside. A good example would be sometimes at the movie theater, when the movie's done, they turn the lights on full brightness at the end of the movie, and then your eyes are used to the dark, and then you're like, oh, it's really bright. And then you squint a little bit. So to squint means to close your eyes slightly because it is too bright. Glare. So this is very similar to stare. In fact, you can see that they rhyme. But when you glare at someone, it means you don't like what they're doing. In fact, the example I gave of staring at a student so they stop talking, I would probably glare at the student. Let's say all the students in my school were in the gym and we had a speaker up front talking, and two students were talking in the back row. Instead of going over to tell them to stop talking, I might glare at them. I might be like, I might just stare intently at them so that they stop talking. Hopefully they look at me so they can see that I'm glaring. This lady is definitely glaring. That is a glare. It's just more intense than staring. So when you stare at someone, when you glare at someone, you might open your eyes a little bit more and look at them very, very intently. To beam. When you beam, it means you're going to be smiling, but it's like your whole face is smiling. I tried to find a picture of people beaming. I feel like these people are beaming with joy. We often say that people beam with joy. It's where, like, the day when you have a baby, you're usually beaming for joy. Like, even if you weren't smiling, people would be able to tell from your eyes and everything about you that you are just super happy. So here's a smile. And then I'm going to try beam. I don't even know what that looked like, but you're just so happy that people, like, within a split second of looking at you, they can see that you are full of joy for some reason. And having a child would be a good example. If someone at work has a baby, the next day when they come to work, they're usually beaming. They're super happy because they had a baby. Hey, let's go to questions for a bit. Let me turn on members only chat mode. If you're wondering what members only chat mode is, it is a time when members can ask questions directly in the chat, and I will continue to answer questions here as well. Let me have a sip of water and then get the first one on the screen from Burgett. Bridget, the longer you know the person, the better you can identify his or her thoughts behind the facial expressions. It's also a thing of personal experience during life. Yes. And I've also heard that for people who are new to Canada, people who have moved to Canada from other countries, sometimes it's hard for them to learn to recognize facial expressions right away. I think we must use a lot of them. And then that's why I think maybe they don't always match up. When I go back in the chat, I see that that says Bob tries to make it as natural as possible. It looks directly into the light. Yes, I did stare straight into the light. And then I actually had to squint. That was the only facial expression that I didn't have to pretend to do. I actually had to do it. Mohammed, do you have online classes? I might start those again in a week or two. There might be one per month. I'm not sure of the time or day yet. So it will be limited to 4 or 5 seats. So look for that. I'll put it on my store and make an announcement. But no, normally I don't. So let's see. From Peter, hi, Mr. Bob. How are you today? Your live stream is wonderful. Thank you. And I'm doing pretty good today. My question is, what your kids got you angry that your face showed? Thanks. Have a good weekend. My kids have definitely seen my angry face from time to time. I don't get angry quickly, but there are times when parents do get angry. And so, yes, I have raised my voice. I have become angry. I am a normal parent, a normal human being. So they have definitely seen my angry face. From the chat, let's see. No, that's finishing off a conversation with John Wedge. No, that says, can you explain the meaning of to engross oneself in something and how you commonly use this phrase? Thanks in advance. We usually describe an activity as being engrossing. It means that you are really focused when you're doing it. So maybe you really like woodworking, and when you start to build something, the work is just very engrossing. It means that you forget to check your phone. Maybe you forget that it's supper time. It's just you like doing what you're doing so much, and you're so engaged that the rest of the world disappears. So you engross yourself in it. Let me see how the internet defines that. I'm kind of curious. Meaning of to engross yourself in something. Let's see. To be so consumed by what you're doing that you give little attention to anything else and all your attention and time to it. So there you go. For me, sometimes when I'm editing a video, I kind of forget about the rest of the world. Let's see. John Wedge says to know that now we are rushing to organize the baby's room. That's always a fun time. Get everything you need. Get it organized now. Lolly says, have you celebrated Halloween with your family? So last night was Halloween. It's when kids go trick-or-treating. Our kids are too old, so no Halloween was celebrated here. We did have chocolate to hand out for anyone that stopped in, the neighbors and stuff, but our kids didn't dress up and we didn't do anything. John Wedge says, hey, Bob, no questions today, just listening and laughing with you, trying to imitate the expressions. No problem. No, that says, thanks for that willingness, Bob. I mean, the thing about the light. Yes, no problem as well. Firkin says, I'm a little late because I was in a meeting, finally here. Interesting. I'll be in a meeting later today. I have a meeting to discuss something. It's not serious. Mode says, people are using emojis in the chat instead of words. While emojis are still good for communication, they don't help that much with your English. Sorry for the unsolicited advice. Yeah, emojis are interesting. They can help you understand the meaning or we say nuance of a sentence. Like if I say to someone, good luck, with a smiley face, it means I actually hope something goes well. If I say good luck with like the smiley face with the tongue out, I'm kind of doing it in jest a little bit. Like they help a bit, but I would agree the words are better if you're learning English. No, that says, thanks for your answer. No problem. No, that says another personal question. How long do you have to teach today and which subject? So I'm currently teaching business and computer studies. I'm not teaching French this semester. I'll be teaching that next semester. And I teach most of the morning into the early afternoon. And then I have a meeting. Lolly, thanks for your answer. No problem. Have fun choosing everything to John Wedge. Yes, lots of fun to go shopping when you are going to have a baby. Panda, what is the rudest facial expression? Thanks. Have a nice day. Kids do this a lot. I'm going to do it. I don't like doing it, but it's sticking your tongue out at someone. The rudest hand expression is this one. I don't want to show you. It's behind. Here, let me do this. There's a finger there. That's the rudest hand expression or gesture. But the rudest facial expression probably would be to stick your tongue out at someone. Adults never do it, but kids do that every once in a while. Over here and then back to the members chat. Paolo says, you are an amazing teacher. Thank you. Stress is also a very important emotion. Are you stressed often, or you try to enjoy life and stay always cool and relaxed? This week was stressful for me. Stress for me happens when there's too much to do every day and I can't get all my work done. So thankfully last night I was able to get all my work done, both from school and on YouTube. So that makes me happy. Going between now and Christmas, it will be less stressful. I'll be a little bit less busy. So that is nice. I'm looking forward to that. From the chat, Hafia says, imagine in 50 years we use emojis during formal business meetings. Maybe. We'll have to see. Wanda says, hi, Teacher Bob. Have you ever tried a facial expression course? Thanks. No, I have not. I do know there's places you can go to where you learn to smile and laugh. They're called laugh classes, I think. I don't know if they're popular anymore. John Wedge says to know that, thanks, my friend. It's been so much fun picking things out. Hey, by the way, we haven't told our family and friends the baby's gender yet, but we already know. Very cool. Mode says, follow-up question. There must be some phrasal verb that means the same as engrossed. What's that? Be wrapped up or caught up in something? Both. Yeah, like I might say, oh, I got really wrapped up in making the video. That would work. Although wrapped up usually means to be busy at work. Like, oh, he couldn't come to the meeting because he's wrapped up with something. To be caught up in something definitely would work. Yes, for sure. I can tell you without any problems. It's the, whoa, what if they're watching? John Wedge. I don't want to say it out loud. Congratulations, though. Very cool. I'll send the photo to Bob soon and he'll show it to you all. Very cool. Thank you for that. Let me get another question on the screen here. From Unibi. Hi, Mr. Bob. Thanks for the great lesson. No question today, but the fun fact, Home Alone face and Munch's The Scream are most famous emojis in popular culture. Oh, yes, there's a painting, right? And then the Home Alone face as well. Very cool. Nice, interesting fact. From Mode. Hey, Smiley Bob, what does it sound like when you scoff at something? That's a scoff. Like someone says, you should buy a new car because your old one's junk. You might be like, it's not junk. I like it. So it's like, you might even make a sound like, pff. And when we eat something sour, the word we use is to pucker, right? Also, is it to scrunch up your face common? Yeah. So if you eat something sour, you might go like, you might pucker. And then to scrunch up your face would be like similar to grimace or wince, probably. That would be the common one. There's also, well, there's another word coming up in the lesson. I'll get to that. Morning, Teacher Bob. What's the facial expression do you usually use when students don't follow your orders? I think I don't raise my voice or look stern very often, but I think it's like this. Like it's a glare. It's not this. Like I was talking about wince and flinch. So a flinch is like very strong. Wince is like a little more minor, but definitely flinch. Like if someone throws something at me, you flinch a little bit. Firkin, I sometimes stick my tongue out when I'm scored while playing soccer, but not always, of course. Yeah, it can be like a taunting celebration. Like you're like saying, I'm the best. That's going to be a thumbnail, or that's going to be a meme somewhere, isn't it? Bob sticking his tongue out. Tis the joyous moment from Hafiaz. John Wedge says, don't worry, Bob. Family members don't know me by that name, which is pseudonym. Ah, nice. Very cool. Michael says, hello, everyone. My Fridays are so busy lately. Missed so many live lessons. I hope corn harvest is over soon. It is that time of year. They switched from soybeans to corn here just a few days ago. One more question, and then we'll switch off members only chat and finish the lesson. Hien says, hello, Bob. How long have you been learning French? I am still learning French right now, and I don't have too much experience. So the joy of being Canadian, or the beauty of being Canadian, is that you start learning French at age 5. You have maybe about 20 minutes a week of French. So you learn le chat, le chien, you learn all the names of animals. And then you have French, I think about 40 minutes a week every year in school till age 13. And then you take it one more year and then you're done. So I've been learning French since I was 5, but I have been taking it more seriously since I was about 19. So that's how I would describe that. Let's see here. Let's turn off members only chat for a sec. I might have shortchanged you guys a little bit, but I think that's okay. And then let me just mention a couple things. There will be a live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be answering questions about the English language, as well as showing some pictures of some of you. So that should be super, super fun. Let me see if I missed any last chats. Corny season will be over soon. Do you already have a name for her? Oh, there we go. Very cool. Okay, let me get a sip of water and finish off the lesson. Mode says, do you sometimes call it blowing a raspberry when you stick your tongue out like that? Yeah. Yeah, that involves blowing air out too, like that kind of making facial expressions I don't like making right now. Okay, questions are done. Let's go back to slides. To pout. So kids often pout when they don't get what they want. It's to express that you are not happy. So if I was a kid and I said to my mom, can I have a candy? And my mom said no, I might pout. You stick out your bottom lip. You look a little bit sad. You're annoyed. I used to pout when I was a kid. Adults sometimes pout as well. It doesn't look quite as strong as a child, like maybe, but definitely kids sometimes pout when they don't get what they want. So a pouting child, it's not always a good way to get what you want. Sometimes your parents just don't care, but sometimes kids will pout. To raise your eyebrows. We sometimes raise our eyebrows when we're surprised, like you can see my eyebrows are going up. We sometimes raise our eyebrows when we're like, we kind of don't agree with someone. Like if someone said Messi's the best football player in the world, I might be like, really? Like I might raise my eyebrows and then I might start to disagree with them. In my short lesson on my other channel, I did the phrase, I beg to differ. This would be a facial expression you would give. If someone said, baseball is better than football, I might be like, I beg to differ. I might raise my eyebrows, showing that I disagree a little bit. And then I might say, I beg to differ. I think baseball's better than football. I don't actually have a choice. I mean, I don't have a preference, but you could use that. It's equivalent to the English phrase, oh, really? Like, oh, really? Oh, really? Meaning that you kind of disagree with the person. A dirty look. So this is the best dirty look I could find. You give someone a dirty look when you don't like what they're doing. Mums and grandmas are good at giving dirty looks. Parents are good at giving dirty looks. It means you don't like what the child is doing. So my dirty look would be like, it's similar to the glare that I would use, but a dirty look basically means I don't like what you're doing and you should stop doing that. You might do this in public, although it's kind of aggressive. So you wouldn't really do this to someone you don't know. But certainly within a family, if your brother tells an inappropriate joke at the supper table, you might give him a dirty look because you're like, don't upset. What's a good example? A good example would be, let's say a girl brings a boyfriend home for the first time to meet her parents. And then he says something that she knows the parents won't like. She might like hit him with her elbow and give him a dirty look. Like, don't say that. So it basically is a way to tell people you don't like what they're doing and they should stop doing it. Confused. I see this sometimes at school. Sometimes students are confused. A confused look is kind of like it can be like, it looks a little bit like sadness mixed with just not knowing what's going on. This person definitely looks confused. Like they're like, oh, like when I look at the screen that shows all the trains that go to Toronto and when they leave, I look like this. I'm like, I don't, which one do I need to go on? What direction am I going? What time does it leave? And then some people looking at the train schedule are like this. They're just thinking. They're like, I do this sometimes in my videos. People have commented where I'm like, and I even put my finger there. Not my little, this is your little finger, my pointer finger. I'll be like, Do you know the names of the fingers? I don't know if I know them all. Thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, pinky. We call it a pinky as well. Anyways, thinking. Sometimes you're like, I don't know about that. And you think a little bit about it. That's the end of the lesson. Oh, there we go. I was kind of surprised by the end of the lesson. I made the lesson. I should have known that was the end. I am going to wrap this up in just a minute or two. I do have to get going. Please remember this lesson will come out in a shorter version in a couple days. You should rewatch it. It will help you remember. It'll help you remember what you have learned. This doesn't mean remember. This means remember. This means like that you're crazy. So don't do that. And there will be a live lesson tomorrow at 10 a.m. It should be lots of fun. I have over 250 pictures of viewers with their first name. So I'm going to show you what some of the people who watch these lessons look like. It was really enjoyable for me to see those photos, by the way. So that was really cool. Let me look at the chat again. No, that says, thank you for the wonderful hour of your time, Bob. I wish you a great and hopefully relaxing Friday. Take care and don't let yourself get stressed. Greetings to your family. I will pass the greetings on and thank you for the sentiment. John Wedge says, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Hockey says, thank you so much for the lesson. Maya says, thank you. Unabi says, definitely should rewatch. Thanks, Bob, and have a great Friday. You too. Kale says, we love you so much. Thank you for the kind words. Mo says, Bob is going bananas. Yes, a little bit. Hussein says, thank you. No problem. Hafia says, see you all tomorrow. Bridget says, thank you, Bob. It's bank holidays here, so I'm smiling. I wish I had a holiday. I need a holiday. I get one next Friday, so that will be nice. Wanda says, thanks. Ralph says, thanks for all the smile and other expressions. See you tomorrow. And continues. Cat Diaries here saying thank you. Denise saying have a great day. Lolly Lolly says thank you, Bob. Vitor says bye. I'm going to stop there and just say thanks again for watching. This lesson, shorter in a couple days. Rewatch it. Live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Figure out what time that is in your part of the world and come and join us. It will be inside. It's just a little too cold and windy outside, but that'll be the first maybe I did the last one indoors. I think I did. Sorry about that. It's more fun to do them outdoors, but eventually it's too cold. Anyways, bye everyone. Have a good